Jackson, Joe Jackson, and everybody on one. Oh, you gotta watch out for the mess. You gotta watch out for the EMP. Better watch out for it today and tomorrow and every day of the week. Everybody on the Twitter is vanishing, disappearing right in front of us and Edison. Anakin like a Star Wars, turning into Darth Vaders. Have food and water. Have a plan, Paul Halley. Just said to prepare for a Bahamas launch. Listen carefully and pay attention. They can't detect this. Please go out and prepare. It is very serious and yes, it is here. It is here. It is clear. Everything is going on. Everything is going back on strong. Going down. Buy from chemicals and the rest of my homes. Regular too edgy when I live really ready. And I'm 70 seconds really with the lure match G and ability. Radio to in your respiratory. KG on the stazzing and the cooler and everybody got it and they had it and not like the bush pilot in the brink. Welcome Alaska Bush Pilot. Deb J, welcome to the family over on D-Live. Queen BTP, thank you for all you do, sending love. That Chowky Gal, really, it's just Mia. Moody Mama. Weaver. Lots of new followers. All right, that should be enough intervention here. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam A.K. Marf, and this is just a short part 2. All right, let's get the caller back on. We're going to finish our conversation. This is a conversation, obviously, that we cannot have over on the tube. I want to appreciate everyone over on YouTube that has come over. We try to give you a little bit of time to come over and sign up for whatever. Again, if you want to watch the replay, there is a tab on D-Live where you can actually click replay. If you are on D-Live right now, you'll look underneath. If you're on a phone, it's about the 4th tab over. It's replay, and you can actually watch the whole show from beginning to end. It doesn't cut. And you can fast forward through that little intermission if you want to. Okay, so let's get into it. So what was the other stuff you wanted to talk about?
Hello. Well, real quick, did you want me to finish with the orb thing and how long? Real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
I got my daughter. We watched it for about a half hour together. Went and got my husband, showed him. He stood there for 5 minutes, walked in. He's like, yeah, okay, because it has to be something really up close and personal for him because the kids, we're always seeing things, it's normal. So it was so far in the distance, but my daughter and I knew it was, something important, but we didn't get a good shot with our phones. So I watched some stuff on MBB33 that mimics it, but I can't send you that because I don't have Wi-Fi, as you know. So, I couldn't even watch the show while I was waiting to talk. Anyways, in a nutshell, and then I sent Dex a picture that my son drew when he was 5. And so all 3 of my kids experienced things. And mostly my youngest, and second my daughter, and then my middle son has had some night terrors, but hasn't had the same types of experiences. But I don't know if Dex would be able to get the picture I sent because, like I said, no Wi-Fi, so it may not go through unless I disconnect and recall you guys. You know what I'm saying? The other information. So I'm a nurse by trade, but I left my nursing career 3.5 years ago in light of 2 of my children had BC injuries, 2 of my 3 kids, and going down that rabbit hole and learning a whole lot. And then in light of the, Rona apocalypse right now, so in May, so I sent Jack screenshots that I got before something was taken down after it was up for 4 weeks. So NIH, National Institute of Health, where Mr. trying to, I don't know.
Just say Fauci. It's okay. It's okay. Just don't worry about it.
Do I still censor here?
Yeah.
Well, cheese instead of...
Yes and no. Just for that kind of stuff, just think about it for just general purposes. If somebody's getting deleted for it, just be careful. Okay. So.
Okay.
New text document. This paper was downloaded from the Internet Distribution Statement approved for public release. Air War College, Air Command, and Staff College. So what is...
Oh, yep. There's that, too. 1990, I have an Air Force document from one of the insider groups I got it from. So one of the insider groups I'm a part of, because of me having some medical background and me having 2 of my 3 kids with injuries, I was welcomed into this particular group, which is legit. One of the administrators, I told Dex her name, but I'm not going to give her name here, but you can confirm that with him. She was one of the administrators and a judge in Australia, and she has been fighting the, BCs for over 20 years, and she was a judge. She was to speak in Parliament against the CVVC, and 12 hours prior to her speaking, she ended up deceased. So the information I get from that particular group is pretty legit. And this happens to be an Air Force document that I shared with him from 1997 that discusses the frequencies and how the government wants to have control of the weather and weather manipulation by 2025 using the technology we are currently using. Single cheese.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Single cheese. I hope people understand.
Yeah, no, I get it. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this available to them so they can go and read this, because a lot of this, this is something that they should be reading and not putting this on blast. Yeah. So that's what we do. We connect you guys with the information via the person themselves. It's basically we're the string tying you guys together, so you can get your information out there. Which, by the way, there's some other stuff that's going on here, which we'll talk about right after. Again, so what we can do is we can share your stuff and make sure that everybody can access it. It's basically talking about 5G, possible introduction of cells into it through the V that you get, the chick. So again, that's something that is a very sensitive topic. So we just want to keep that down to a minimum.
The other stuff I sent you was the other screenshots I sent you from NIH. That is just the studies. It's a study of multiple scientists from 3 different countries, including us, and showing what the frequencies of that technology does to our skin cells. It particularly causes you to shed that RNA, which is essentially that CV. So we are measurable and tunable frequencies, right? EEGs, EMGs for nerve conduction tests, EKGs for our heart, our brain waves, our EEGs, so we measure our brain waves in hertz, right? We are energy, just like why grounding and earthing works, correct?
Yep, everything has a frequency.
Yeah. So the frequencies of these technologies are not compatible with the body. What people need to, if you go and do your research, each time there's an increased technology or electrification of the Earth's magnetosphere, we have where people are getting more sick, or and there's debate. I think this is completely blown up, and it is not what it appears to be, because if you look at the CDC website, the total number of deaths for 2018 versus 2019, less people actually die cumulatively. It's just things are relabeled, correct? So we have I talked to somebody the other day, and her friend is an oncologist at the hospital here, and he had 0 people die from cancer this year, which is unheard of. So, what I'm saying.
and that's
things are just being relabeled, to induce fear, put people into an induced state of fear.
You have to say, you should be saying allegedly though, because just in general, you actually could.
Typically, allegedly.
Now they've passed laws that make it illegal, because exactly what you're saying.
Pardon?
They're making it
Correct.
illegal to say on a public forum anything like that. They're passing it through quietly. So if you say that online, you could actually have police knocking at your door for inciting, just like they're doing in the UK. If you've seen the videos of them coming to your house and saying, you've posted this, come with us. That's another thing. They're like, oh, you care about your show. Very soon you'll care about your freedom. That's a huge deal. So, yeah.
Yeah. So in my opinion, allegedly, that's my opinion based on what I've done my research on, right? So, and I have information from them, to the UK too. Wednesday, a particular bill got passed, involving the CB, now in law, that they can't leave their home without a CB pass.
Yeah, so, and we've talked about it as far as traveling, and then you're gonna have to have a bill. So again, but we're a little bit over on this one. I do.
Okay. Anyways, what I wanted to say is that we have to be very smart with our technology. Just go to watch, or go to look up any. BBC did an article on it, I don't know if I can say that or not.
Just say it. It'd take longer to not
microwave weaponry. Microwave weaponry.
ADS, active denial systems.
Active denial system?
Well, I guess that's what I see them as. Unless you're talking about something else.
No, U.S. Embassy. U.S. Embassy people in multiple different countries having the same symptoms and being diagnosed with neurological disorders and other things due to microwave frequencies.
Yes.
That was posted.
Sonic weapons.
So in light of the technology we now possess and hold in our hands, and each device has a biometric tracking spectroscopy sensor that measures 3.5-foot radius, blah, 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 blah. All that kind of stuff is kind of, we need to be very smart with our devices, wear EMF clothing, we have the EDAC bags, like we have those, and have your head on a swivel. And now knowledge is power. What keeps coming into my head every time that I learn anything and share information with my, church friends or whatever, it's like I keep thinking Jesus said my people will be destroyed for their lack of knowledge. And I feel that's where we're at, where so many people are like, oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, but I'll take this. Go ahead and let me have that so I can fly. You know what I'm saying? Like when it goes against the word, right? So it's time to
get educated.
Full armor of God, man. Full armor of God. And in a nutshell, what people don't recognize is there's a myriad of frequencies that, our internet provider, the reason why we got rid of our internet. So I called because the same week we were to go live with homeschooling last year, they called my husband to say, oh, we need a new satellite, when we shouldn't need a new satellite, right? So my spidey senses went off. I called to ask what the new satellite was on as far as frequencies. And the lady comes back and tells me, well, you're already upgraded and to the new frequency. The tower got upgraded the end of December last year. So I found out that we were already running on this new tech out in rural North Dakota last December in 2019, right? So I'm like, okay, so what frequencies is it? And that they're specifically running on. And she comes back and says, oh, like he told me the only thing I can tell you is that's for private information, not for public knowledge at this time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm paying you to utilize the service and you're not going to disclose to me what potential health implications that there are with these frequencies. Tell me what they are. I was completely like, are you serious right now? And so then they show up unannounced to put the new satellite on. And I'm talking to the guy and explain my concern and that my medical background, and that I understand that 35 to 60 gigahertz interferes with the oxygen spectrum, inhibiting oxygen to bind to the hemoglobin, in turn reducing oxygen absorption throughout your body. And that basically sounds like the CV study that was done in last February, but whatever. Anyways, so I go through all that with him. Then he feels more inclined to get up there. I said, well, why? It's new. Why do I need a new satellite? She told me we're already running on that frequency. Why do I need a new satellite? He says, well, you're not going to be able to get service through us by June because the FCC put new regulations in that you can't have that satellite because there's a specific chip in it from China that you cannot have. Whoa. Right?
Yeah. I'm homesteading. I hate to tell you, but we're on about 25 minutes. So I normally don't go this far over,
anyway.
But we did go into the next show. But the main point is that I've got some emergency information that I need to tell everybody. That's why we went over to DLive. So if you could, I'm no problem with you going over because I wanted you to. But definitely we need to share some of this stuff because otherwise we have to put a different tag on our content and then we're not found. So, but again, what we're going to do
so I'll wrap it up.
Is we're going to get all of your information to the people. People will be able to access all of the information. So there's no, people will go, well, we miss out on anything. You won't, because people will be able to go access all of the information that you have over on the website.
Yeah. And what people need to know is that there's a group called Americans for Responsible Tech.org that filed a lawsuit this year against the FCC for not keeping us safe because there has been no safety study done by them for Cinco cheese as well as Quattro cheese. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been independent studies in other countries proving that this is very, 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 very bad. Like they've known for years that RF-EMF destructures the water molecule and we're 73% water. Example is the microwave, right? So we can go on and on, but I'm not going to. But thank you, Mar. Thank you, Dex. And I will try to post something in code now that I'm recovered from my surgery. I will try to post something in code with my dry erase board.
Do you
without
need
getting into trouble?
Do you need us to pray for you? You said it was an appendectomy. Was that right?
Appendectomy. I just had to have my appendix out, and I was really disappointed. They made me take a CV test because they require it because they needed to know if I was positive because they would do anesthesia different. I'm like, I had no symptoms. When in the world? So I took the opportunity to pull up this information that some of the stuff that I sent you guys, and amongst other things, and shared it with the anesthesiologist and the surgeon and the nurses and said, hey, I've done my research, check this out. And the anesthesiologist read the NIH stuff, and she's like, I heard about that, but you couldn't find the information anymore. But she's like, I totally believe that. So I took the opportunity for my emergency surgery to drop some truth to, and then I'd say about 75% of the people I dealt with in the ER and the hospital were like, they're not going to be guinea pigs with this experimental stuff. And they're like, no, they were very like,
homesteading. This is probably for a different show. But homesteading.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
You have a wonderful night.
But I am praying for you.
Take care.
My wife didn't even get a CV test when she gave birth, that's crazy. So thank you so much. Again, it's just a time thing. Dex is 3 hours ahead of me. It's now 2 a.m. where he's at. So we got to finish up, but thank you so much. You have a great night. And again, we're going to have future D-Live shows. Again, you are always welcome. Homesteading, thank you so much. Make sure, this person that Annabelle does not know what I do. So I don't need credit. Just say, hey, somebody ran into me and said that you're awesome. You can say, Adam said to shout you out, but you don't have to mention my channel or anything. I don't even tell people I do it. So, all right. Thank you so much. Again, so nice to have you on, and I'll talk to you on the phone. And again, we'll help you get over 1,000. All right. You still there?
Hey, Adam. Oh, she's gone.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah. And did you find the other information that I put up on screener that you were looking for this part of the show?
Oh, yeah. So I'm
good.
pulling it up. So do you want to explain, again, Patrick Howley and some of the other stuff that's going on? There's
yeah, he's a former editor-in-chief on one of the I guess right-leaning mags, but he's also an editor or not an editor, but a reporter. And he's talked a lot. He's been on Fox and CBS and a couple other places. And he's also, I think he covers a little bit more on the right side too, but whatever. But he recently made some tweets that caught my eye, specifically around things that we talk about here and things that we talk about being prepared for. Things like, power outages, EMPs, things like that. So when I saw this, it just, coming from another reporter out in the field, it gave me pause for a moment.
So another thing, Epic Times, Big League all sorts of channels or all sorts of different medias, and has been on Fox. Like, I can't even. He's been somebody they consult for many things. Patrick Howley's been on there. I've seen him plenty of times. So for him to say this, and the people that he's connected to, it's like whoa. So this is just, we need to pass that kind of stuff on. Stay safe. Make sure you know exact locations of your friends and allies. Don't rely on supply chains or electricity. So stores or electricity. Nothing I say is meant to offend you. Love you. This country will survive. Says, make sure you know routes to safe rural areas, especially if destabilization scenario results in the jamming of highways. First thing people are going to do is get in their car and drive to wherever they think is going to be better, right? If your urban, suburban area without electric power, you have no running water. Be smart and prepared. That's why 90%, they say if our power goes out, 90% of us will perish, is because of the lack of water. That is one thing that I think every single person should be required by law to stack up. Like, if you're required to pay your taxes, you're also required, to store water somewhere. But they actually make it illegal. They make it illegal to store rainwater. On top of this, it says, in the event of an EMP launch from the Chinese base in the Bahamas, the nation's electric grid could be affected. Make sure you know the location of allies and family. Congress dropped ball previously on defending against that. basically saying that they could have done more on this subject. They could have passed certain things. The executive grid that is doing it is helping a lot, but there's only a few companies doing the work to do the entire grid, and they're growing. I mean, they're actually giving them contracts like EMP Shield, for example, is building new buildings just to build their product because they can't build them fast enough for these contracts. And on top of the whole civilian market, that's why when we first saw that contract, we didn't know if they were going to still sell to civilians. Like, we didn't know if regular people could get them, because their entire company is now going to be working for other, the big boys. So it was really good that we still had that. Highly recommend. For at one point during the big height of this, they couldn't get them out fast enough. They actually told us hey, it might take 3 to 5 days for people to get their EMP shields. Now they're back to fast shipping and everything else. So they told us that to be considerate. But now
something else that was interesting I learned about them too, Adam, was that what the number one shield that people buy right now is?
What?
It's the car. And when you think about it, when you think about the most life-saving of all the tools from an EMP shield, if you're stuck, if you're driving down the road and this thing goes off and you're 20 miles from home, what's it worth to you to be able to get the rest of the way there, right? What's it worth to you to be able to get to your bug out location? What's it worth to you, if you need to get somewhere in an emergency? Now, I get it, gas will run out, right? Okay, fine. But what's that last tank of gas you have worth to you? Right. And for less than probably your automobile insurance, monthly payment, or even, not that much depending on what you pay for insurance, but, you could literally make sure your car runs. And it makes so much sense when I was talking to them about what the biggest seller is. And it is the automobile. And most people are worried about that and making sure that they can, get home, get back to their loved ones, or get to their bug out location, or get to, the care they may need if they have to do something after an event like that.
Well, I was
sort of surprised, because personally I was thinking it was my house, right?
Well, yeah, of course. But without other things, how are you going to, or what if you're somewhere and you can't get there? What if you're out? What if you're out at the store and you can't drive back home? And then, I've been thinking that it would be prudent to get some sort of gas-powered scooter. So if it's stopped traffic, you could zip through it. I've had 2 scooters in the past, and they both broke. Because I used them. I shouldn't have used them. But I got those cheapo ones that you get they used to sell them. They got big for a few years, but they were gas-powered little scooters that you would get at O'Reilly's or at a stop. They used to sell them all over the place. But they're cheap. They were belt-driven, and the belts broke, and they're 2-stroke engines. But what they do is they go 25 miles per hour, and they fold up in the size of a trunk. So I highly recommend. There's better ones that you can get. I just haven't been wanting to spend $700-800 on an actual one, but I think I'm going to at this point, because it's it's scary as hell not having. If you get stuck, I thought about that with my wife when the alert went off and I was stuck there in traffic, thinking, man, that would be scary as hell. Did you drop out, Dex?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. I totally agree. And look, you could be in rush hour traffic and this thing goes off, and guess what? You may just be stuck. But if you're not, right? What's it worth to you to be able to get the rest of the way? And that's what I think about, So I thought that was pretty impressive, and I think the Fugel fam is pretty smart when they're, that's what they've been targeting for these products is that vehicle.
Now, can I ask, General Flynn apparently just said that actions are going to happen in the next couple days, or that
totally vague, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is vague. So General Flynn, who was a 4-star general or 5-star, I think it was 4 or 3.
3 or 4.
3-star,
3, I think.
3 or 4-star general. Was close. He was one of the people that was pardoned directly by the president. He said that there will most likely, it didn't even say most likely, he said that there was going to be actions taken in the next couple days. Vague, right? And media is like straight up blacked out right now. Parler and other sites like this are getting shut down. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I do know that I pay attention to some of these people because you never know what's going to happen. And Mike Lindell, personal friend of, Commander, he said stuff about the emergency alert system. I do want to let you know, just for your information and anybody in the Northwest that got it today, we got the normal alert. The test normally says county emergency services. This is a weekly test of. It just has the beeping noise, and then that's it. This one looked exactly the same. It says trabajo, it has the Spanish, then it goes into English, and it says this has been a weekly test. This one said NORCOM. This one has been a test of NORCOM, and it had a voice on it, a weird robotic guy voice saying, this is a test and blah, 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 blah. Not like the normal voice that I hear, because I hear them every time, and they scare the crap out of me. Every time I'm, my kid's watching Dory or something, and then it comes on, our hearts stop every single time. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I am. And every time I hear that scary just beep, 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 it's freaky. Today's was even weirder. I thought it was real just because of the different voice. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is it a guy's voice? From NORCOM, Northern Command. Just look up Northern Command. You get what I'm saying. So anyways, don't know. It could be nothing, right? Either way, the timing of it on top of yesterday's FCC thing, which, by the way, FCC put out basically saying that it is required because of a disability law. I think that they're saying it because of that all broadcasting companies, everybody is required to pass on certain alerts, which is weird. It's like they have to remind them to pass on a special alert. There is a presidential alert, and I bet you some people are so pissed off that they wouldn't pass it off. They've even talked about not passing along the presidential alert because they were afraid of somebody communicating with it. But I just want to know, that's the doomsday alert. That's from the government. So I would rather get it than not get it. But they had to put out a thing basically saying, hey, it is illegal to not play this alert. So big things are obviously happening. There's people being deleted left and right. We're not extreme anything. We're neutral most of the time. We stay we stay good. But there's a reason for that. We have a lot of people that, like being open-minded and sitting here. We have people from both sides of the aisle here. This is not a one side or the other. And it's hard to do that. So it's also hard for people not to get triggered either way. But that's what we are trying to do. It is a challenge. It's not going to be easy. We have to challenge ourselves to get along with other people that don't believe the same things, even if it just fries our brain that they believe that. Because guess what? The other side feels the exact same way. They think the same things. So we need to get past it and maybe hang around it long enough that each other rubs off. And you pick up good things on this side, you pick up good things on that side. But what we do is we avoid the negative. Either way, we need to prepare for anything just in case it happens. And if it doesn't, all the better. And we're all hanging out and having fun and high-fiving. High-fiving general colored guys. Anyways. All right, guys. It is, it's about that time. Just wanted to pass that on. Basically, all of the
catch that jet.
Public sources out there are, yeah. Okay. N95 Hero. What in the heck? And yes, that was heck. Just did a Ninjet, and it says, I don't think you have been on there, haven't you? I think you have. says, thank you for passing this along, Marf and Dex. Appreciate all that you do more than ever. Stay safe, everybody. Keep your head on a swivel. So, by the way, most of what we just said, surprisingly, people don't know because everybody's been deleted or booted. Don't know if you noticed. Let's just do an example. Do you remember we were at 20.7? I was at 22.1 this morning on Twitter. We were at 20.7 when the show started, 20,700. Let's click on it now. 20.3. Yeah, that's just insane. Those aren't people that unfollowed because I said something offensive. I haven't said anything. It's people being deleted. So, also, apparently people from this platform were in the Capitol. We don't talk about other creators here, period. But that really does mess up things for the platform. It messes up things for everybody because that puts pressure on I honestly think that a platform should be a platform. A platform should not interject unless it's something that puts somebody directly in danger. In that case, if they, knew about it and didn't do anything about it, whatever, I think that they're probably waiting because feds might come in there and do something about it. And maybe they've told them don't say anything because maybe they need to go snatch them or something. I don't know. But what I do know is that instead of this platform being more like other platforms, those other platforms need to be more like this platform. I mean, it's a platform. A publisher goes in and based on the content rips them out. There is free speech, and there are people I really don't like, but I still support the fact that they can say things I don't like and say things that hurt me and say things that just, I consider, this or I consider that. In fact, I consider it, dumbing people down or being stupid. But I still support them to say that. And if they say something too far, then they're responsible for it. That's what a platform versus a publisher is supposed to do by definition. As long as people are safe and, that's what I think. But anyways, you guys, you've all been a blessing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for following. Tomorrow's show will be a little bit more normal. We are playing every single day by ear right now because it's just nuts.